Welcome back, everyone. The WNBA regular season is back after the All-Star break, and we've got 5 games lined up for July 22nd. Let's dive into today's matchups, break down the spreads, totals, money lines, and a couple player prop suggestions. If you're rocking with the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment to let me know your thoughts. Let's get started. Los Angeles Sparks versus Washington Mystics. Team comparison. The Sparks come in hot off a 2-game winning streak, averaging over 90 points in their last 2 matchups, including a dominant 99-80 win over this Mystics team. Kelsey Plum has been the driving force, leading the offense with efficient scoring and strong playmaking. The Mystics, on the other hand, have dropped 2 of their last 3 and struggled with turnovers and defensive lapses in recent games. However, they've played tough at home and can't be overlooked, especially with Iriafen dominating the glass. Spread. Los Angeles Sparks plus 3.5. Even on the road, the Sparks have momentum after beating the Mystics by 19 in their last matchup. With their offensive rhythm and Plum's leadership, taking the points with LA feels like the stronger side. Total over 167.5. Both teams have trended towards high-scoring affairs lately. The Sparks' offense is clicking, and while the Mystics are inconsistent, they can still put up points. This matchup looks primed to push past the total again. Moneyline. Los Angeles Sparks plus 130. LA has won 3 of their last 4 and just handled the Mystics convincingly. With Washington battling inconsistency, backing the Sparks for another upset win has solid value. Player prop suggestions. Kelsey Plum, higher 18.5 points. Plum has scored 20 plus in 3 of her last 4 games and dropped 20 on the Mystics last week. Her shot volume and playmaking role make her a strong candidate to hit this line again.
Kiki.
Iriafen, higher 7.5 rebounds. Iriafen has pulled down at least 8 rebounds in 4 of her last 5 games. Even in a blowout loss to LA, she grabbed 8 boards. She's consistent on the glass and should be trusted to clear this number.
Indiana Fever vs. New York Liberty team comparison. The New York Liberty are riding a 3-game winning streak and just handled the same Indiana team by 21 points. The Liberty's defense has been sharp, forcing turnovers and controlling the boards even without Jonquel Jones. Meanwhile, the Fever have been up and down, competitive in most games, but vulnerable to New York's pace and scoring depth. The health of Caitlin Clark remains a question mark heading into this rematch. Spread, New York Liberty minus 8.5. New York's defense and scoring balance give them a clear edge here, with Stewart, Cloud, and Ionescu all contributing consistently. They have the tools to cover this sizable spread again at home. Total over 163.5. These 2 combined for 175 points in their last meeting. Both offenses have multiple scoring threats, and despite the Fever's turnover issues, they've been scoring enough lately to push games over this total. Moneyline. New York Liberty minus 550. The Liberty are heavy favorites, and rightfully so. They've handled Indiana convincingly in recent matchups with balanced scoring and strong defensive pressure. At home, they should control the game from start to finish. Player prop suggestions. Brandon Stewart, higher 19.5 points. Stewart dropped 26 against the Fever last game and has been the Liberty's most consistent scorer. With Jonquel Jones out, Stewart's role remains huge. Aaliyah Boston, higher 7.5 rebounds. Boston's been a force on the glass, pulling double-digit rebounds in key games. Against a strong Liberty front court, she'll need to stay aggressive on the boards, and she should.
Chicago Sky versus Minnesota Lynx. Team comparison. The Lynx are on a mission. They've been dominant at home and boast one of the strongest defenses in the league. They've already played Chicago twice this month, splitting the games, but they bounced back with a statement win on July 14th. Minnesota's balanced attack, anchored by Napheesa Collier, gives them a clear edge, especially with the Sky struggling with turnovers and defensive lapses. The Sky, meanwhile, rely heavily on Angel Reese's rebounding and hustle, but their inconsistency in shooting and defense has hurt them in close games, especially against top-tier opponents like Minnesota. Spread: Minnesota Lynx minus 12.5. Minnesota has handled Chicago convincingly when they've won, and with home court advantage, this feels like a spot where they can cover a double-digit spread again. Total: over 162.5. Both teams have shown they can push the tempo. Minnesota's efficient scoring and Chicago's scrappy offensive boards should keep this game moving at a good pace. Moneyline: Minnesota Lynx minus 950. The Lynx should control this matchup from start to finish, especially if they build an early lead. Player prop suggestions: Napheesa Collier, higher than 21.5 points. Collier's coming off an all-star MVP performance and has been aggressive on offense in her last few games, especially against Chicago, where she scored 29 and 26 in back-to-back meetings. With her confidence riding high, this feels like a good spot for her to stay in attack mode. Rachel Banham, higher than 11.5 points. Banham has been a steady scoring option for the Sky, hitting 12 and 15 points in her last two games against Minnesota. With the Sky likely chasing points in this matchup, Banham should get enough shot attempts to clear this line again. Atlanta Dream versus Las Vegas Aces team comparison. The Dream entered this game 13-9, but will be without their top scorer and playmaker, Ryan Howard. That's a major offensive blow. While Atlanta has leaned on Brianna Jones inside and Alicia Gray on the perimeter, losing Howard affects both shot creation and floor spacing. The Aces are finally back at full strength, with Wilson rolling and Chelsea Gray finding rhythm. Vegas is coming off strong wins and should have the advantage at home, especially with Atlanta shorthanded. Spread: Las Vegas Aces minus 2.5. With Howard out, Vegas looks like the smarter play. They've tightened up defensively, and Atlanta will likely struggle to match scoring depth for 4 quarters. Total: over 162.5. Even with Howard out, both teams like to push the tempo. Atlanta may have to play faster to compensate, and Vegas tends to get into shootouts when at home. The over still feels like the better play. Moneyline: Las Vegas Aces minus 145. Safer with the moneyline here. Vegas has more scoring options available and should control this game down the stretch. Player prop suggestions: Chelsea Gray, higher 3.5 rebounds. Gray has been quietly cleaning up on the glass. With Parker Tyus still out, Gray's rebounding role remains important. Brianna Jones, higher 7.5 rebounds. Jones has hit or cleared this line in 3 of her last 4. Her presence on the boards will be key against Vegas's front court, especially in a close matchup like this.
Dallas Wings versus Seattle Storm team comparison. Dallas comes in struggling with 4 straight losses, having trouble finding consistent offense despite Paige Becker's playmaking. They also give up a high number of points, especially on the road. Seattle is steady at home with a more balanced scoring attack led by Diggins and Ogumike, and they've been strong defensively in recent home games. Spread: Seattle Storm minus 2.5. Seattle has the defensive edge, better rebounding control, and a more reliable offensive setup, especially at home. Against a Dallas team that's been sloppy with turnovers and cold from deep, laying the points with Seattle makes sense. Total under 162.5. Dallas has been scoring inconsistently, and Seattle's defense plus their methodical pace tend to push games under. Both teams have struggled with shooting efficiency in recent outings, making the under a reasonable play here. Moneyline, Seattle Storm. Seattle at home with their defensive pressure and ability to win close games is the better side to back on the money line. Player prop suggestions. Nneka Ogwumike, higher than 7.5 rebounds. Ogwumike has been a rebounding force lately, consistently grabbing boards on both ends. Against a Wings team that struggles on the glass, this line feels manageable. Paige Bueckers, higher than 18.5 points. Bueckers is Dallas' most reliable scorer and playmaker. Even with Dallas struggles, her role and shot volume make this line worth targeting. That wraps up our picks for the WNBA games on July 22nd. As always, if you're feeling these breakdowns, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below. It really helps the channel grow. Good luck on your bets, and I'll see you on the next one.